Greetings everybody, my name is Tommy the Game Master and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about something that's been causing a bit of controversy the last few days on YouTube, and that's the whole mess and scandal with Pewdiepie, and I'll give you my whole thoughts on it. First, I'll start talking about my thoughts on Mr. Pewdiepie. Okay, the last few months hasn't been very good when it comes to his image. Now, I do not say that PewDiePie does not deserve the success he gets. He probably has worked very hard to get where he's at. A lot of people think YouTube is pretty much you sit in front of a game recording device, you speak inside a microphone for a few minutes, you press a button, and then you collect a big paycheck from YouTube. Let me say, anyone who knows how to do video editing, special effects, or anything else that is required to make even some of the more basic YouTube videos knows that several hours can go into making a YouTube video if it's done properly. So I do not regret the fact that PewDiePie is making $7 million a year off of his YouTube channel. I think he's deserved it. However, with 50 million subscribers and being one of the biggest names on YouTube comes with a responsibility. You're going to be in the spotlight. What you say and what you do affects the rest of us. It affects the way we are imaged. It affects the way the YouTube community and YouTube itself is imaged. Therefore, you have got to be able to control yourself. And I don't see that with PewDiePie at all. In fact, I would say his whole little Nazi stunt a few months ago, a lot of people were questioning whether it was pro-Nazi or if he was poking fun of him. I'll tell you what that was. It was a marketing scheme. He wanted people to start talking about him because there's no such thing as bad press, basically. That's what that was about. He wanted the views, nothing more, from what I saw of it. Granted, I wasn't able to actually watch the whole video because it had been taken down before I became aware of it, but I'm probably going to side with Pat the NES Pumpkin from what I have seen. It was a marketing stunt. He does this stuff. Remember the whole, when I get to 50 million subs, I'm going to delete my channel? You remember that stunt? Because I do. So he's been up to this for quite a while, so this is nothing new for him, and it pisses me off because it makes it harder for, honest YouTubers to really make a living, and it kind of soils the reputation among game industry people. And, there's a lot of people I know who definitely deserve that level of fame too, and I think could handle it more responsible. I think of game channels like The Game Theorist, Gaijin Goomba, the Brotherhood of Gaming, even though they're a small channel. Although Angry Joe even could handle that level of responsibility that he now has a lot better than PewDiePie, and that does piss me off. Now let's get to what actually happened and my thoughts on it. Now, a few days ago, he was doing a live stream, he got pissed off and he used the N-word. Now, for those people who are shocked that someone would use an N-word on an online game, must have never played a game over the Xbox Live before, because I remember playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in the day and hearing that word constantly, and it came from people that sounded like they were still in middle school. It was a new word. It made them sound hip, mature, edgy. I'm sure what it sounded like is that their mothers needed to take them out back and beat them with a paddle, but, that's my thoughts on it. But it happens a lot. Is it offensive? Not really. Does he deserve to lose his channel? No. Does he need to get some flack? Because, like I said, biggest channel on YouTube, and therefore he has to take more responsibility? Unfortunately, absolutely. However, what the game developer turned around and decided to do is also reprehensible and also bad for things. He basically false DMCA'd him, not because he believes that what PewDiePie is doing is a threat to his copyright, but because he doesn't want his name to be associated with him after all this bullcrap PewDiePie does. Don't entirely blame him on that. However, one of the things that worries me, especially if you been looking at the Alex Marr case, which, since I did do a review of River City Ransom a few weeks ago, I have definitely been keeping my eye on that case. That's false DMCAing. It's done in a way that's basically, I think, will become swatting in the future. If you want to destroy someone, it may not involve police and guns, but if you want to destroy someone long term, you issue a copyright strike against their work. Whether you have a legitimate beef or even have ownership of that copyright, that is what's going to be happening. It's why that law needs to be changed. So I'm very much against that, but who would win in a court fight? And I see a lot of it, mundane met. Pewdiepie would win because it's fair use. I'm like, no, 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 it's not. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a copyright attorney. But I did my homework before I started my YouTube channel. I also have taken a business class. So I can tell you this. Fair use is a really freaking hard law to comprehend. Anyone who's not a copyright attorney and says that they know one way or another that this is a slam dunk case is obviously lying to you. One of the tenets of fair use is it's got to be either informative, educated, a critique, or a parody. So unless those live streams can really provide that, and unless the commentary is on every track, he would have a hard time actually winning on fair use, especially when this is where live stream and full Let's Plays have a problem. Fair use also takes account of how much is used in that new video. So if you're doing a review like I usually do, when I use game content and when I do rants like this and I post a huge game clip, I make sure I'm using a developer that's not going to come after me for doing that. That's why you see a lot of WayForward or Ubisoft stuff, because they post, everywhere that they're okay with it. But anyways, when it comes to Let's Plays, you're using a lot of it. When you do see my reviews, I only use small clips. I cut down the clips and I try to keep the clips down to what I talk about in my script, so I do have that fair use protection. However, I don't think you'll find that protection during a live stream. No one has ever gone to court over it to see if it's fully legal, so he wouldn't be able to win on fair use. However, the guy who made that game also gave blanket permission to anyone and everyone to use a live stream, and there is absolutely no provision on his website different between large company and independent when it comes to these things. When you see a large company who does allow some streaming and some YouTube videos, there's usually a huge paragraph about what is allowed and what's not. Using racial slurs being oftentimes a big no-no in those. He did not include that in his whole live stream thing, so it was just a blanket license for Pewdiepie to use it. So he's going to actually have a really hard time actually winning and defending that false DMCA suit against Pewdiepie because of that, but not because of fair use. Pewdiepie is not protected by fair use. Unfortunately, in this, there is no precedent, at least, for it, and it would be hard just because he's adding commentary to the game. You've got to make it stick, and you got to prove that it's, meets all these grounds. So he'd actually have a hard court battle if it wasn't for the fact that the developer legally gave permission. What I see for this in the future, I do not see another adpocalypse. I do not really see even a wider gulf between YouTubers and the game industry in whole. I hope not. But what I do hope to see, and this goes to you indie developers out there, that you will listen to me on this. Start putting up more rules when it comes to live streaming if you're afraid about this type of stuff, that you don't want to hear racial slurs, that you don't want it to be anything demeaning and mean, because yeah, this stuff will happen. As far as Pewdiepie goes, you're a giant man-child who makes $7 million a year, but the rest of YouTube kind of hinges on you, and if you try to destroy it because you're so afraid of losing your popularity, I don't know what type of person that makes you. I really don't. As far as I know, I'm not a really big fan of yours or your work. Sorry. Anyways, thank you for listening to this rant. This is Tommy the Game Master signing out. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. I would love hearing from you guys.